from Morrison Stadium here in Omaha, Nebraska. It is the opening game of Big East Conference play between the DePaul Blue Demons and the Creighton Blue Jays here on BEDN, presented by SoFi. With John Schreiner, I'm Donnie Barnes. Big one today as these two clubs look to get off to a positive start in conference play. And John, DePaul really limited by injuries this year. They've been forced to play very defensively, but Morgan Turner has been their leading attacking threat.
Yeah, Morgan Turner, 3 goals on the season for the Blue Demons, and 2 of those have come over the last 3 matches, so she's on a heater. And for Creighton, Taryn Jacobowski, the bulldog in the midfield. She will need to be tough today to break down that solid DePaul defense.
DePaul are 6-0 all-time against Creighton. We'll see if that continues with our kickoff coming up next.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do. Here.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.
These two sides are fired up for this conference opener today. Creighton and DePaul from Morrison Stadium. The Blue Jays just had their pre-match huddle. As we look at our starters for the DePaul Blue Demons, who have only lost once in their last 6 games, John. And again, they start out in a 4-5-1 in a very defensive formation.
Yeah, and they have some good defenders in there. Avery Hay was a conference freshman of the year. And they have a lot of experience back there also through the midfield. Bina Saipi, one of the leaders in that midfield unit.
For the Creighton Blue Jays, they love to possess the ball and play out of the back. They've done so very effectively this year. Interesting to see Katie Sullivan back in goal for them. Yeah,
kind of a rotation at goalkeeper now with Keelan Terrell fully healthy, and Lauren Harks has been a tremendous addition, the graduate transfer from Clemson. She has been one of the trigger players in the midfield. She should be filling that role for the Blue Jays today as well.
There is Katie Sullivan, who's made some outstanding saves for Creighton. Keelan Terrell, as you mentioned, just healthy over the last few matches. Was expected to push Sullivan for that #1 shirt all season long. And so now they've been alternating over the last couple weeks, and it's Sullivan's turn in net today. Ross Pauly's been very coy about that goalkeeping battle. He said, well, we have 2 great keepers. That's a great place to be. We have options. He's not committing to either one publicly. There's Molly Erickson, just a sophomore, but she's started every match for DePaul in her career so far. We are underway in this Big East Conference opener. These two teams both desperate to get off to a great start in conference play. And right away, there's Skylar Heinrich forcing an awkward stop out of Erickson. Not technically a save. Erickson, though, had to clear it partially. Her back line did the rest, and immediately we see the problems that Skylar Heinrich poses to a back line.
Introduced to that speed right away.
DePaul in the white tops and bottoms, Creighton in the blue. Creighton 6-3 in non-conference play. They lost their last 2 matches in a trip to Florida. Although Ross Pauley felt they played very well for long stretches of both of them. Extremely pleased with how the non-conference season went overall. And DePaul, as mentioned, they got off to an 0-3 start, but since then, been able to grind out some results. Beaten just once in their last 6, coming off a couple draws in their last 2 non-con games. First time they've possessed the ball in the Creighton defensive third. Chance to get a strike away or a cross, and it dribbles in on Sullivan, who collects. Bit of danger posed by the Blue Demons there.
Yeah, I think it was Erickson Russo up front who created a little bit of space and almost got that on frame.
Then the Jays turn it over. Saipi spread it to Morgan Turner, who leads them with 3 goals on the season. Toward that near post, it had to be put out for a corner by Jordy Rothwell. And it's a much more positive attacking start than we expected out of DePaul.
Well, they've found some opportunities, and there's been a little bit of space. A couple of misplayed balls by the Blue Jays have created these opportunities.
Blue Demons taken by number 8, Batliner.
No seniors on this DePaul team, but that doesn't mean they're not experienced. They've got a lot of players who've been on the pitch since they were freshmen.
Jackie Batliner taking the corner toward the edge of the box. Gwen Walker off the bar, still loose on the goal line, and then collected by Sullivan as it stays out somehow. The Jays fortunate to stay at 0-0.
I'm not sure that was intended to be a shot. I think it was supposed to be a cross right here. She's trying to cross that ball, and just a fortunate mishit comes off the bar. DePaul nearly taking a very early lead.
Now the Jays look to respond. Ansley Atkinson on that left side. A wall of white in front of her, and she's dispossessed. DePaul looked to counter, but had just 1 player up in attack. And Jade Erickson Russo had it taken away. Keely Fothergill threading the needle there to Lauren Harks, who does well to check up and keep possession. Not going to be a lot of time and space for Creighton in that attacking third, even that attacking half many times. Ross Pauley talking about needing to move the ball quickly earlier this week. There's Jacobowski. And surrounded by defenders, forces a throw.
Well, it's possible to have an aggressive defense without pressing high, and that's what DePaul do. They're not going to press you all the way to your own back line, but when you come into the attacking half, as you said, Donnie, they're going to be right on your back. They're going to mark tight. It's going to be tough to break them down.
Coach Aaron Chastain talked this week about how they like to be a more attacking side than they've been able to be this year. Usually much more attack-minded, but just don't have the personnel or the depth to do that as much this season. So they've had to be very pragmatic and practical. And it's been working well for them. They've played a very difficult schedule, one of the toughest in the country. And she feels they did well, hung in tough against teams like Purdue and South Carolina.
Yeah, you look at that early schedule for DePaul, and the thing that sticks out is the number of tough teams they've played, but also, you know, they have good wins over teams like Kansas.
Here's Atkinson, meanwhile, with a cross knotted along by Jewel Love, easily collected by Erickson.
Again, wins over Kansas and Loyola, who are pretty strong teams, but then in their last 2 matches, they've had draws against Bowling Green and Samford, 2 of what you would consider the weaker teams on the slate. So, you know, will the real DePaul please stand up is I guess what we're looking at here in the early season.
We'll start to find out in Big East play today. First foul of the match called against Creighton. Lucas Feathers, our referee today. Free kick for the Blue Demons just in their attacking half. Jackie Batliner thumping it forward, took a deflection, and it falls for Bina Saipi, who strikes well wide.
Just opportunistic right now for DePaul. They're creating their chances out of little tactical and technical mistakes for Creighton. Blue Jays turning the ball over too much in their own half. DePaul creating chances off of it.
Morgan Turner, that right touch line, able to skip toward the end line then, but then Jalen Bosock with good strength to usher it out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, having Jalen Bosock out on as a wide defender, kind of a luxury for Creighton this season. She's been more of a central back, a center defender throughout her career, but putting her out on the wing, she's able to muscle off some of those wingers that try to get to the end line. And it's a nice job there.
Creighton choosing to keep the ball on the deck out of the back, as they often do. It's one of the big stylistic differences between these two teams. DePaul do not play out of the back generally. They look to kick it long from those goal kick situations. It's one of the fascinating things we were looking at going into this game, John, with Creighton loving to press high up the pitch. When you play a team that doesn't play out of the back, it's a lot tougher to do that.
Yeah, and I think Ross Pauly asked you if you knew how to solve that. He didn't really have an answer for how you can high press a team that just wants to bash it away as soon as they get it in their own third. It's one way to beat the press.
And what he did say is we have to win those second balls from those long kicks out of their back line. Have to pick up those second balls, have to connect passes right away out of those situations. Here's Harks with some space. Atkinson being closed down. Heinrich, is she onside? She is. Couldn't take it in at the first touch. And skips to that end line herself. Crosses into the 6. Love swung and missed. And then Atkinson couldn't control. Most dangerous moment for the Jays outside of those opening 15 seconds so far.
And that was a little bit of growth from the young freshman Heinrich. You saw her bend the run to stay onside. And a good cross in. Joelle Love just couldn't quite connect with it.
Jordy Rothwell has been very good for Creighton in that defense. So too is Anna Grossinger, Fothergill. Toward Heinrich, too tall for her. Falls to Jacobowski. It's giving Joelle Love a lot to do. Love has the speed to do it, but it's put out for a throw by Jackie Batliner. Long throw by Love. Jacobowski got her head to it, but couldn't direct it to the spot she wanted to. See DePaul, but looking to break out of the back. They just don't have a lot of numbers forward. But this has been a good start for the Blue Demons. Coach Aaron Chastain will be pleased with these opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, they've created chances and held up against what has been a pretty potent Creighton attack through 9 games this season.
Bosock again, cleaning up that loose ball. All the way back to Molly Erickson with Heinrich pressuring and forcing Erickson to hurriedly put that ball out of play. Again, teams just are never quite ready for the speed that Heinrich possesses.
Yeah, you don't have as much time as you think as a defender back there, and especially as a goalkeeper. She just turns on the jets a little bit late. Really created a moment right there.
Jacobowski, good first touch. And then the cross, not what she was looking for. Over and out for a goal kick.
And this is Molly Erickson, goalkeeper for DePaul. She is tremendously experienced both at the collegiate and international level.
There is Aaron Chastain in her 13th season at the helm of this DePaul program. Sister-in-law of U.S. women's national team legend Brandy Chastain. But more importantly, an excellent coach. And she said this week, you get through those opening 15 to 20 minutes, managing the emotions, the nerves of that first conference game of the season on the road, we'll feel pretty good about it. Again, they have to be feeling pretty good so far. It's off Jacobowski, DePaul throw. Loose ball picked up by DePaul on the edge of the area. Pass was a bit behind Mary Tierney. Pulls it back for a long distance effort over the bar. Again, DePaul looking dangerous on the edge of the Creighton box.
A little bit sharper in attack right now for DePaul. Their passes are a little bit more crisp. They're connecting better, finding those spaces, and created more opportunities.
It was Gwen Walker who took that shot from distance. Atkinson with a flick over the defender's shoulder. Got past Maria Nordness. Could not get past Sydney Parker, though. Grossinger to Fothergill. Again, being closed down by two, but neatly skips between them. Jacobowski just muscled away from it in the end, which doesn't happen to her very often.
And part of the problem right now for Creighton, when you have a solid defense, your forwards have to be very active. They have to make runs to try and drag defenders out of position, to create space, to create gaps for other players to run into. And if you watched on that last attack, nobody really moving up front for the Blue Jays. They're very stagnant right now, just sort of accepting the fate of that defense standing in front of them and waiting.
Ainsley Atkinson's been lively on that left side as usual, but as you said, she's been faced with a wall of defenders. That's what the Jays expected. That ball miscontrolled by Rothwell, turned over to Tierney. Has some help arriving, finds the overlap of Walker. And too far forward, intended for Erickson Russo.
Another poor touch in midfield for Creighton results in a DePaul opportunity. How long will it be before the Blue Jays pay for one of those?
Another one there. Last-ditch tackle by Rothwell. Second ball picked up by Turner. Was then blocked out of play by Grossinger. But again, like you said, the Jays sloppy.
Well, and Turner with a chance right there, but the first touch was just a little bit too long. She looked to be away.
Turner's first touch there took it away from her. DePaul players hollering for a corner, but it's a goal kick instead. And the Jays keep it short. Play out of the back. DePaul pushing up a little bit. Play on, says the referee. Run on, says Skylar Heinrich. Facing up the defender. Heinrich across the face of goal. Nobody there. Can Love keep it in play? No.
This is what I was talking about earlier, Donnie. None of the other forwards joining the attack. Skylar Heinrich gets to the end line, plays the ball all the way through the 6-yard box, and there's nobody at the far post. You have to make those positive runs to break down a solid defense. Creighton right now not doing it.
Jays won the tussle in midfield, and then Fothergill was fouled right on the halfway
Creighton
line.
fans, now you can take the game with you with a First National Bank Creighton Visa debit card. Get your free Creighton Visa debit
15
card
minutes
today.
in, 0-0. DePaul doing what they want to do so far.
They've absolutely locked it down at the back and nearly capitalized on several Creighton mistakes.
Gabby Grimaldi looking to pick out Heinrich. It's a tough ball. And then back to Molly Erickson. Always really tough to pick out your attacker one-on-one with that clipped ball over the top.
Yeah, it's a tough skill, no doubt, to find a head with that chipped ball in. You can do it. It's special.
It was neat work by Saipi to find Turner on the way. Turner facing Rothwell. Looked to put the cross in. Rothwell blocked it enough. Joel Love outlets to Atkinson. I should say Bosock to Atkinson. Turner was well defended by a combination of Parks and Atkinson there. DePaul, the last Big East side against whom Creighton have never gotten a result. 6 meetings, 6 DePaul victories. Jays have at least had a draw against each of the other Big East programs since they joined the conference.
You and I were here a couple of years ago, this very venue.
Bay Bobcat Equipment, your first choice whenever you face the toughest challenge.
Big East match.
Construction and industrial site.
Had some serious offensive threats on that day.
Bobcat of Omaha.
A couple of players that they're sorely missed, having left the program via the graduation route. Franny Cerny, the all-time #2 scorer for the DePaul Blue Demons. She graduated last year, and 2 years ago, Alexa Ben, who's the #2 all-time in assists for DePaul, was a senior.
Atkinson toward Jacobowski, keeps it in play, wins a corner. Which will be the first of the match for the Blue Jays.
Now here's a chance.
This Blue Jay corner kick brought to you by the Mattress
Been on the back foot. You must say Creighton have been that team with a corner kick to change the fortune right here.
Atkinson, who's been very good from these dead ball situations. With a right-footed in-swinger. Clipped away, though. And DePaul looking to outlet. Nice work by Grimaldi to slow up that attack and force it out.
Yeah, Erickson Russo had really nowhere to go when Grimaldi cut her off. The ball in is good, but the defending is just better.
Heard that wind rustling a little bit in the background. It is a breezy afternoon in Omaha. Blowing left to right. You see the flag there. Blowing toward the goal that the Jays are defending. So DePaul with the wind at their backs in this opening half.
It's a north wind. First one of those we've had here in the fall, cooling the air significantly. Games played on this pitch in November. The north wind have icicles into your soul.
Always interesting over a college soccer season, the range in weather that you get from those late August games, often still in 90 to 100 degree heat. You get into November and
There might be snow.
yeah. Creighton have had some memorable wins in the snow here at Morrison over the years. Thankfully, we're not at that stage yet. Joel Love will be beaten to this ball by Jackie Batliner. Jays keep the pressure on, though, with Grimaldi, and then Love. Past Batliner. Referee says play on. Jays looking to hem DePaul in, and this is where they felt they could set up that press. And did that hit Heinrich's hand? It did. And the attack is gone. But the Jays, we talked about DePaul not playing out of the back, bypassing that Creighton high press. But Ross Pauley said when we do turn the ball over in the attacking third, that's when we can start that press, and we have to start it immediately.
Yeah, that's the key, is you got to be immediate. And it just comes off the inside of the elbow. That's where the tactical foul is given.
Hello? Silva?
foul there as Rothwell went to the ground, but again, Jewel Love, their game plan in the opening quarter of this match. Now they're trailing. Let's see if that forces them to come out a bit.
Yeah, the way this game's set up, you always thought that if DePaul scored first, it would be very tough then for Creighton to come back and break down that solid defense. But now, with the Blue Jays hitting first, this may force the Blue Demons to commit a few more bodies to attack, especially in those set-piece situations, which can result in runouts the other way.
6850 to get your successful campaign started today.
Yeah, with the three forwards that Creighton play, Atkinson, Heinrich, and Love all have tremendous speed and skill on the ball. In run-out situations, they're hard to deal with.
Heinrich was held without a point in Creighton's 3-game road trip, their first 3 away from home over the last couple weeks. Right back on the score sheet as soon as they return to Morrison. Great step over by Jacobowski. Maybe had a little more time than she realized then as she tried to release Atkinson. It's back to Jacobowski now. Jacobowski looking to cut to the end line, hoping for a foul, and referee Lucas Feathers wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's really good defending by Nordness. She read the play, saw that Jacobowski was going to try and cut left, just put her body between the player and the ball. Watch this right there, perfectly played. It's not a foul, it's just good defending.
Subbing in for the Blue Demons will be number 18, Megan Malika.
Nordness, one of those players who started all 9 in defense for DePaul.
Number 11, Tierney.
Megan Malika checks in for Mary Tierney for DePaul. There's a dangerous run for Erickson Russo. There's a couple arriving in the box, looking to pick somebody out, and did. But it was shanked wide by Bina Saipi. Good opportunity for DePaul to equalize, and Saipi just couldn't redirect it on target.
That's a good run by Erickson Russo. Gets close to the end line. But Saipi trying to hit it with the right foot. Probably needs to try and let that come across her body and hit it with the left. Directed on frame. In those, trying to take it out of the air with your weaker foot. Don't ask me to do it.
So DePaul responding with a little bit of pressure here. Maria Nordness to take this throw. Nordness again, Bosak again. And Jacobowski shielding it off. Couldn't connect with Jewel Love. DePaul throw on the far side. Skylar Heinrich's 22nd minute goal, the difference.
No turn! No turn!
Into the box, flicked up in the air, and then out for a corner. This will be the second corner of the match for DePaul. It's Jordy Rothwell. And it skim off her head.
Now here's a golden opportunity.
Nothing in. Watch the short.
See Ross Pauly there. Get his team set up to defend this corner.
It's going to be taken by number 18.
He's in his 5th season. He looks to be building something with the young roster he's got this year.
Dangerous corner in. Off the line. Did it cross the line? No, says the referee and the linesman. DePaul claiming that it crossed and that the goal should have been given.
That's Keely Fothergill standing on the near post with the desperation clearance, but look at the ball in, right into the danger area. And Sullivan nowhere to be found. Did not come out to claim that ball that was inside her 6-yard box. Fothergill has to rescue it.
Cross went over everybody, chased down by Brooke Weitzel. Weitzel blocked well by Grimaldi. Jays need to relieve that pressure, and they do. And lots of space for Atkinson now on the counter. Atkinson just couldn't connect with Jacobowski. But then a sloppy ball, and Love, with a tough tackle, wins it back. Heinrich looking to apply that pressure. DePaul handled her that time. It certainly looked on that replay as though it was the correct call. Fothergill cleared that ball well before it had crossed the goal line. Can't see definitively from the angle we had, but you can definitely see why it was given as no goal.
It didn't look like, you know, the entire ball was over the entire line. Certainly close.
It would be fun if we had that goal line technology that they have in the Premier League, so we could see exactly how close it was.
That's why you put a player on the post, though.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. Fothergill did the job. But back to just the way this match has gone, Donnie. I mean, despite having looked like the less technically sharp team, despite being the team that has made more mistakes in the midfield and turning the ball over, and the team that has shown a real lack of sharpness in connecting passes, Creighton find themselves with a 1-0 lead. And I think in the halftime locker room, depending on how these last 16.5 minutes play out, Ross Pauley is probably going to feel fortunate that his side is the one in front.
But it is interesting, I'm sure, for Ross Pauley to find himself on the winning side of a match like this so far, because Creighton have been on the other end of this quite a bit the last few years, where they just didn't have the bite and the punch in the final third, where they would play pretty well but wouldn't make it count on the scoreboard, and then they'd fall to a sucker punch. And now they're the team with the Skylar Heinrich who can supply that moment of quality. Might have another here. Jacobowski trying to pick out Heinrich. He was blocked right back to her. Fothergill. Stabbed forward by Bosat, cut out. Sydney Parker made the intervention there. Lauren Harks closed down from behind. Battle in the middle of the park. Harks stretching to win that back for Atkinson. Has Heinrich in front of her. Ansley Atkinson. Heinrich. It is Heinrich putting it wide. What a chance for a second. And she doesn't miss many of those.
Substitutions coming in for the
Another opportunity for the young forward. Had to hit it with the less favored left foot. Just skewed it a little bit wide. Couple of substitutions coming on now for the Blue Jays. There you see it. It's a rebound that comes back off her thigh, and left foot just wasn't quite in rhythm.
Just kind of snatched at it, didn't she? Goal kick from Erickson. Kept in, was it, by Atkinson? Not quite. So just over a half hour gone at Morrison Stadium. Creighton have been outshot 6-3 by DePaul. Heinrich with that 22nd minute tally. Giving the home side the lead in this Big East Conference opener.
It was Ashley Kerlock and Cassie Legband, the two players on for Creighton in that last substitution. Legband has been good, providing some service to those center forwards through the early part of this season.
Kerlock scored her first of the year in Creighton's last match. Jays have gotten really good impact from their bench this season. Much more depth to this team than in years past. 7
different players have scored goals for the Blue Jays this year, and conversely on the other side, DePaul, who have only scored 7 goals in 9 matches, have only had 4 players put the ball in the back of the net.
Good interchange down that right side. Came off a defender. Heinrich chases it down. Darting around white shirts to keep possession. Skylar Heinrich. take it around Bina Saipi then.
Yeah, it was just a touch too many.
Jays, though, applying that high press after they lose the ball in the attacking third. They win it back. This is Cassie Legband battling on that far touch line. Harks went shoulder to shoulder with Saipi, but Saipi won that battle. Jays win the ball eventually, though. Herlock found Atkinson. Atkinson with the cross. Heinrich redirected it right at Molly Erickson, but did so well to get a foot on it and put it on target.
Yeah, good bit of skill right there from Heinrich on a good cross from Atkinson after she cuts inside. Loves to cut inside onto that right foot from this left wing. Good little flick, but Erickson right there to cancel it.
Jays were offside, so free kick here for Erickson. Bosak won the initial header, now falls to Heinrich. Cassie Legband. Sure, she was trying to pick out Jacobowski there, out for a goal kick.
Subbing in for the Blue Jays will be number 16.
You see Kylan Grubb about to sub in for Creighton. She scored her first of the year a few matches ago against Kansas City. That was a great win for Creighton, a place that's very difficult to win. Kansas City, the Roos don't lose at home very often. Creighton beat them 2-1 a little over a week ago. Erickson, knowing she didn't have much time, couldn't get much on the clear. Bosak. Jays wanted a foul, and now they get one.
Now the substitution for Creighton puts Kylan Grubb at the center forward spot. Heinrich will move out to the wing now, but look at this collision between very strong players, Morgan Turner and Jalen Bosak.
Heinrich stabbing it toward the box. Jays really trying to turn up that press in the attacking half late in this opening half. Creighton with the opening goal had a great chance for a second a few minutes ago when Heinrich put a left footer wide. DePaul have had their moments too. Now Heinrich again forces the turnover. Heinrich on her right, looking to curl it just over that crossbar and right-hand post. And Heinrich again causing problems with her speed.
Yeah, defenders in this 2019 season have just not adjusted. Like, there's a touch and sort of a casual chase after it, made a bad touch, but before you know it, Heinrich is passed, she's on it, and taking a chance at goal. And I think the balance of power, which though Creighton was ahead on the scoreboard, Donnie, early on, was tilted in DePaul's favor. I think Creighton have started to turn that a little bit and now look like the team deserving of that one-goal lead.
Really neat work by Jacobowski to get out of trouble and spring the counter. Jay's throw in the attacking third.
They really pinned DePaul back over these last 10 minutes or so. Creighton been on the front foot. They've looked closer to scoring again than they have conceding.
Bosak skips it into the box for Grubb. The back heel for Jacobowski, who's bundled over, but half-hearted appeals for a penalty. Given no credence at all by Lucas Feathers. And again, looked like the right decision.
It was sort of a wing and a prayer for Taryn Jacobowski. Didn't really have any other option than to try and absorb contact and draw the foul.
They specialize in full-range apparel, promotional products, and web-based corporate stores. It's Ideal Image's goal to help you develop the best.
Now a free kick for DePaul in an advanced position.
Well, let's see how many players the Blue Demons commit now, being down a goal. If they keep 3 back, or if they'll send an extra player forward. It looks like they're going to keep 3 back, +1 withdrawn pretty deep. So still a defensive mindset on this set piece for DePaul.
Morgan Turner to take it. Away! Toward the 6, a dangerous ball, and nobody could get on the end of it for the women in white.
Yeah, but concerning for the Blue Jays there is 2 DePaul players running free right through the heart of the area. Neither one able to get on the end of it. A little better delivery, and the ball might have been in the back of the net.
Jays have been a little suspect sometimes on those set pieces this year. Ball wrong-footed Kylan Grubb. Bosak, Kurlock, Grossinger, and Rothwell. Heinrich didn't take it down cleanly, chased it down though. Jays maintaining possession. And to string those passes together, and they work it well. And Harks to Heinrich, who has the speed to run onto that. Heinrich crosses. Boy, it hung up in the wind. It falls to Jacobowski, who drilled it. And it was blocked by a defender. That was Mary Tierney, I believe. And now DePaul looked for the counter, but good work by Grossinger to hold it up initially. DePaul persists though, and Morgan Turner as it spin back to her.
Well, that was a really important header by Jordy Rothwell, because it looked like Jessica Lazo was going to be in on goal with that through ball coming. Rothwell just got ahead to it, stymied the attack.
Good work then by Grossinger to halt Turner's progress. The DePaul throw deep in the Creighton half. With under 6 minutes to play in the half. Into the Creighton box. Spread back for a long distance effort. Gwen Walker way over the bar. And it was interesting to see Erickson Russo. It is Bark in the Park day here at Morrison Stadium. Lots of very good dogs in attendance, enjoying the scoreline so far. But it was interesting to see Erickson Russo there, John. Having done the hard work to turn on the edge of the area, I expected her to have a shot. It's kind of a missed opportunity for DePaul.
Yeah, and then Gwen Walker really never got her body shape right as she was approaching that ball. Torso was always back, leaning away from the ball, and ended up somewhere on the concourse.
Jacobowski again with that little switch over back heel, and good idea for Kurlock was cut out. Jays get it back though, leg band. Cassie leg band. Cross was blocked, came back to her, leg band. Switches back to her right. And then another cross blocked by that defense. Avery Hay got the block in that time, and then another. It's a corner for Creighton, their second of the match.
Yeah, especially that left side of DePaul's defense with Hay and Batliner. Those two out there have been really, really good at denying the cross coming in from that side.
So leg band takes the ensuing corner. The outswinger toward the penalty spot. Bosak got there, but couldn't get much on the header. Always a threat from those set pieces. Jalen Bosak just couldn't get her head around that.
Yeah, a couple of times last season, Creighton searched to find some goal scoring, and Bosak went and played sort of as a hold up forward for that reason exactly, just trying to launch balls in. Pretty tall, strong. As you say, a threat on those set pieces.
It's a foul called against Lauren Harks. Creighton disagreed.
I don't think she got the ball. Might have just clipped the heel there. Here we go. Paul still keeping 3 defenders back, plus the kick taker.
A chance for Morgan Turner to put it in a dangerous spot. And she does. And Sullivan came. Bosak got there first. They collided a bit. Sullivan appears to be all right as she's back in her goal mouth. I've seen the Jays again look shaky on those set pieces. They did again there. Attack not over for DePaul. Jessica Lazo facing up Bosak. And Bosak cuts out the cross very well. Now Heinrich. Grubb wanted to return it to the streaking Heinrich, who would have been away. A good intervention, though, from Sydney Parker prevented that.
There's Ross Pauley, and I'm sure what he'll be talking about with his bunch at halftime. So much of defending set pieces. You remember Creighton almost gave away a goal on the corner. It's communication. And the goalkeeper has to be in charge of that at the back. The goalkeeper must communicate to those defenders who needs to be where, whether or not she's coming out to get the ball. Goalkeeper has to lead that charge. So far in the set pieces, hasn't looked entirely confident from Katie Sullivan.
Final 90 seconds of the half. Throw in for DePaul. And if you're Blue Demons coach Aaron Chastain, again, I think you have to be reasonably pleased with a lot of things you've seen in this first half. She'll be the first to admit she doesn't have a Skylar Heinrich this year, and that's been the difference.
The defense has been really pretty solid.
And hops in harmlessly to Erickson.
They have allowed Skylar Heinrich
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining.
a trio of opportunities, one of which she put away. But for the most part, nobody else has looked very dangerous for Creighton. They've kind of canceled out everything else.
Paul hoping to create something before the half. Jays clear it to the midway line. Batliner pushing up a bit. Rothwell thumps that away. Jacobowski toward Heinrich. Maleka intercepted. One more punt forward for DePaul.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So 45 minutes in the books at Morrison
3,
Stadium. Skylar
2,
Heinrich with the goal
1.
in the 22nd minute is the difference at the half. 45 down, 45 to go in Omaha in the Big East Conference opener. It is Creighton 1, DePaul 0. At half, we'll have a report on our Big East Fall Sports Update with Megan Caffrey. That comes your way next.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
and you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do. Here.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans. saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Back at Morrison Stadium, it's time for a Big East Fall Sports Update with Megan Caffrey.
Welcome into the Big East Fall Sports Update. I'm Megan Caffrey. There's so much to get into today with conference play gearing up for volleyball and women's soccer. We'll also recap a really exciting opening weekend for men's soccer. However, first, we'll start with field hockey, who also got into league action this past week as well. 2 teams are in the top 15 in the nation's polls this week, with UConn climbing back up to number 3 after the Huskies' overtime win over then the 6th-ranked Princeton Tigers, and Liberty also checks in this week at number 13. Now, if you wanted action and excitement on your Friday night, BE football certainly did not disappoint. I was watching all of the games. There were 9 goals in 5 matches. Excitement all over the place as we take a look here at the big winners of the weekend. St. John's, Georgetown, Providence, and Creighton all coming out on top. Now let's take a look closer at the top 20 showdown that was in Queens on Friday night. Belson Stadium was absolutely rocking. They had a record crowd, the most since 2014. The Johnnies were trailing 1-0 at the half, and then they came back scoring all 3 goals in the second as they took the 3-1 victory over Xavier. St. John's first win over a ranked opponent this season. 2 of St. John's goals coming from Nico Petridis. Now, 2 of the teams who did lose in their Big East openers were able to bounce back as Marquette and Butler capped off a 7-2 non-conference week for the Big East, with the Golden Eagles beating Wisconsin and then Butler taking on the 5th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers at the Selleck Bowl. The Dogs win 2-1. Brandon Gould and Jack Hayward come up with the goals. But the real story here was Gabriel Georgi in net. He had 5 saves on the night, including this huge one right here early in the 17th minute. On this penalty kick, he said, "Nope, not getting in." And the Dogs hand Indiana their first loss of the season. And get this, this was Indiana's only their 5th non-conference loss in the last 6 years. So a huge feather in the cap for the Bulldogs as they advance to 4-3 on the season. And as we look ahead to conference play this week, the Bulldogs have another top 10 opponent with the 9th-ranked St. John's Red Storm. Now let's turn to women's soccer. Women's soccer conference play starts up this weekend. However, before we go forward, let's take a look back at some of the really big non-conference wins that the Big East put up, with Villanova knocking off 24th-ranked LSU, DePaul beating number 11 Kansas, and then Georgetown, who was ranked 15th at the time, they took down the 23rd-ranked West Virginia squad. Now let's look here at all of the matchups that we have to get into action this week. And then on Sunday, Xavier takes on Villanova. Musketeers also had a great non-conference performance as I sat down with senior forward Samantha Dewey and asked how her team is going to keep that momentum riding into conference play.
The Xavier Musketeers wrap up their non-conference slate with a 6-match unbeaten streak, their longest since 2013, as I now welcome in the Big East preseason Offensive Player of the Year, Samantha Dewey. Samantha, how was your team so successful through the non-conference this year?
I think that we set some goals before the season, and one of those goals was to do well in our non-conference, and I think that we played some teams that we maybe not seen before, and that gave us a good challenge. And I think throughout the non-conference season, we were able to learn from the things that we didn't necessarily do well. We gave up some goals at the beginning of the season, so we wanted to fix that. And I think the 5 straight shutouts were a testament to that.
Last season, your team finished a program best 4th in the Big East. So what specifically are the Musketeers building off of this season that you've seen already through the non-conference?
I think that we have this togetherness that we've really just built in our program, and the more together that we play, the better we play. And so I think just building that team camaraderie and finding that collective energy, building into the Big East. And then obviously the Big East is a tough conference, one of the best in the country. And so if you wanna be the best, you got to compete against the best. And so that's kind of our motto, continuing to build on a program that wasn't super successful when we first got here. And now to see where we are and see the growth is just really rewarding and just super cool to be a part of.
And conference play kicks up this weekend as your team will take on Villanova on the road. Sam, your team is 5-1-1 away from home this year. How have you guys become road warriors?
Yeah, I think that was part of the method behind the madness that the coaches really were preaching to us beforehand. Like, we're going to have a tough non-conference slate, and not only is it going to be tough, like, we're playing on the road, you guys are going to be on the bus a lot, but I think we've really embraced those challenges and made it our own, like just coming together on the bus, coming together on trips, and really being intentional about getting to know your teammates, getting to know what makes them, tick. And I think that we've really put it together on the road and done what we've needed to do and get wins.
Samantha Dewey, thank you so much for joining me. She will be carb loading before her game on Sunday against Villanova at 1 o'clock. You can catch that on the Big East Digital Network. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now let's check in with John Fanta, who's got more on Big East women's volleyball as they get into conference play.
Thanks, Megan. There's 2 top 15 teams in the nation out of Big East volleyball. Creighton, who is the reigning conference champion, they're ranked number 14. And it's the Marquette Golden Eagles, a program first in the top 10. They come in at number 10 this week, and they swept away Butler in their conference opener behind Allie Barber, who had 13 kills. In other Big East volleyball action, Xavier, they rallied past DePaul in a 5-set thriller. And coming up this weekend, 14th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays, they'll welcome in Villanova. That's 8 Eastern time, Friday night on the Big East Digital Network. Going back to Marquette, a number 10 ranking nationally, and for this Golden Eagles squad, they know they've achieved a lot. Best start since 1997, but there's a greater goal in mind.
We've been knocking accomplishments down left and right, and I think that that's huge for us. And I think that one that I know we really want as a group is the Big East title. And I think that we haven't won it since I've been here, and it would be a great way to close out an incredible list of accomplishments. And I think that it's huge to have it here. I mean, your home court advantage, the facility, you're not sleeping in a hotel, you have your own crowd. Like, it's huge, it's massive. And I think that it's going to be super beneficial for us. And regardless, it'll be a ton of fun. So I'm excited for it for sure.
Yeah, we're excited to host. I mean, we love the opportunity to be at home. A lot of our families will be here Thanksgiving weekend. We need the volleyball community to be around Thanksgiving weekend. In terms of us trying to knock off Creighton is something, we've been striving for. Certainly, we talked to the seniors after we got the win at Wisconsin, and I was so happy to get to see them accomplish that in their career. And then I said that the Big East Championship would be the next piece, as I would love to see your senior class, after coming so close in many occasions, be able to achieve that and let those guys walk out of here on a high note.
Thanks so much for watching the Big East Fall Sports Update. Enjoy the second half of your game.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
to know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Insert your adorable dog-related puns and jokes here. It is Bark in the Park afternoon at Morrison Stadium. Creighton with a 1-0 lead over DePaul in this Big East Conference opener. Back with John Schreiner, I'm Donnie Barnes. And John, again, DePaul did a lot of what they wanted to do in that first half, but Skylar Heinrich made the difference, as she often does for Creighton.
Yeah, defense was solid. They created opportunities out of Creighton mistakes, weren't able to put one away, had a few chances early, and then it was Skylar Heinrich over the top, running onto a ball, as we've seen so many times in this early part of the season, and she put one away.
Let's look at highlights from that opening 45 minutes. Again, DePaul started that half very strongly, and they were the ones that created most of the danger and nearly scored on a cross/shot that came down off the crossbar.
And it wasn't the last time that a ball came just that close to crossing the line for DePaul. Creighton, the chances were few and far between in the early going. Very clinical in front of goal either.
Missing there. Atkinson with a corner that was cut out, but then Skylar Heinrich couldn't round the keeper at first, but got another bite at it and didn't miss.
Yeah, just a nice, cool, calm, collected finish. Ball falls fortunately right to her foot. Slots it home. A 1-0 lead.
Our stats from our opening half. Again, the shots are even. Shots on goal are even. It indicates what an even half it was overall.
Yeah, and early on, DePaul was sort of bossing the game. They were forcing turnovers in midfield, but as I mentioned in that first half, the balance of power started to shift the later we got into that half, and Creighton were finding some room at the back. And now as we move into the second half, it'll be interesting to see if DePaul does come out a little bit, commit some more bodies forward on those set-piece opportunities, and chase that goal to get back into this match.
And they'll need to, and again, that's been an issue for DePaul this year. Strong in defense, haven't been able to attack much. We'll see what they can muster in this second 45.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
to know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Congratulations to the Big East Women's Soccer Weekly Honor Roll members this week in conference play. Samantha Dewey, the Xavier Musketeers, bossing the midfield for them. Paula Germino-Watnick, who has haunted the Blue Jays here in Creighton in years past. We'll tussle with her again in a few weeks. Stephanie Rodriguez of the Butler Bulldogs. An excellent week in goal for them.
And Sam Dewey and Paula Germino-Watnick, a couple of names we're very used to hearing around this conference.
Keelan Terrell, meanwhile, the Creighton Blue Jays freshman goalkeeper, the Big East Goalkeeper of the Week. Made a lot of big stops on that road trip the Jays swung through Kansas City and Florida on. There she is on the bench today, and the Jays alternating goalkeepers over the last few weeks now that Terrell is finally healthy. She was not at the start of the year. We are back underway for our second 45 minutes with Creighton leading by a goal to nil over DePaul in this Big East Conference opener here on BEDN, presented by SoFi. Annie Barnes with John Schreiner. Again, it's pretty fascinatingly poised, John, because Creighton will probably feel they can improve a lot in this second 45 minutes. Didn't play to their potential in the opening half. And how much will DePaul commit forward and attack, because they're going to have to at some point.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to know what Ross Pauley said to his bunch at halftime, and what the message was, because there were some stretches in there where they didn't look like they were very sharp, the Blue Jays. They weren't connecting passes, weren't really creating anything. And you know, it's one thing to play against a defense that likes to lock it up and will keep you out of the attacking third. But if you're making your own mistakes in midfield and not connecting your passes, well, then you just have no chance to break them down. But then as the match wore on, I think they settled in nicely. And from the other perspective for DePaul, as we've said throughout, they've done mostly what they set out to do today. It's just a couple of unfortunate bounces. The ball off the crossbar, and then from the corner that Keely Fothergill cleared off the line. They could be up 2-1 at this point pretty easily.
A little bit of pinball to start this second half in the midfield. It's a Creighton throw. Hensley Atkinson to take for the Jays. First of a Big East soccer doubleheader here on BEDN today. We'll be back here at Morrison at 7 o'clock Central for the Creighton men's game against Villanova. That's a really fascinating and intriguing battle between two teams that had a strong non-conference season. And Creighton won their conference opener at Marquette last week. Grossinger forced to concede a throw. DePaul take it quickly. Hoping to create some danger here early in the second half. Spins to Gwen Walker. Slid it for Erickson Russo. Her cross and a dangerous ball to that near post. Put off the foot of Mary Tierney. She did touch it last. It's a goal kick.
Well, Tierney does it right. She lets it come across, hits it with the left foot. Doesn't quite get around the ball to send it back where it came from. Another dangerous attacking opportunity early in a half here for DePaul.
By Katie Sullivan, you saw her wince a little after taking that goal kick, and she appears to be limping a little. And we saw her struggle to shake off an apparent leg injury here a couple weeks ago after taking a goal kick. So you wonder if maybe she's retweaked something. Loose ball in the midfield. Turned over to Cassie Legban. Punted forward in the direction of Heinrich. Again putting the back line under pressure, Skylar Heinrich. Forcing a hurried clearance from Molly Erickson and a Creighton throw.
Pickleman's Gourmet Cafe is proud to support Creighton J Soccer. We fuel the soccer teams with our toasted sandwiches, thin crust pizzas, soups, and freshly chopped salads. We're offering delivery, catering, and pickup orders at all 4 of our Omaha locations, downtown at 15th and Barnum, Midtown Crossing, Exarban Village, and 114th and Dodge.
There is Erin Chastain watching pensively as her team looks to find a route back into this match. And a nice turn by Bina Saipi, who had some dangerous moments early in the first half. Just ran away from Erickson Russo. Atkinson picks up the loose ball. Here's Heinrich again marauding, but last-ditch sliding tackle by the defender. Heinrich just continues to be the difference in this match, John. If it weren't for her, DePaul would be totally stymieing Creighton. It's just her speed and her ability to press that's creating these moments of danger. As there is Johnny Torres, by the way, the Creighton men's head coach. He's watching the women's team as they get ready to play later tonight.
Well, you mentioned Skylar Heinrich, and one of the things that she does that I think is really clever is she deceives the defenders with her speed. She kind of plays it casual, like she's not going to make an attempt, and then as soon as the defender turns their back, she makes a dead sprint, but so that they never see her coming. This is a foul
by Jacobowski.
Against Weitzel.
Yeah, it looked like Jacobowski got her left foot, leg kind of stuck under her as she fell awkwardly. She's involved in a lot of collisions and awkward falls every game, and somehow always seems to stay on the pitch.
If you've never watched Creighton women's soccer before, you'll notice that Taryn Jacobowski spends about as much time being knocked to the ground and getting back up as she does running around the pitch. She is a physical player. She delivers a few knockdowns of her own as well.
Yeah, just 5'5", but tough to deal with. Leg band. Too far for Jacobowski. Fothergill, I think she was letting that run for Grimaldi. Didn't quite come off, but the Jays win a throw. Nice flick by Erickson Russo. But again, when DePaul are able to move the ball forward, they just don't have a lot of numbers up in attack. This is a foul against Creighton and a free kick for the Blue Demons.
I think also the difference here, Donnie, is early in that first half when they were creating those opportunities, when they were getting those chances, they were making some really sharp, really crisp passes. They were hitting their mark, and they've sort of fallen apart a little bit when it comes to making the accurate, correct pass. Get back into the mode of just playing the easy, simple ball.
Free kick easily dealt with by Jordy Rothwell. Paul able to get some numbers forward here with this throw. Saipi. Just had it poked away from her by Grimaldi. Heinrich brings Jacobowski into the play, who finds Fothergill. DePaul hustling back, getting their back line organized. Fothergill making progress, slides it in the direction of Atkinson, but asked a bit too much of her. And a goal kick for DePaul. Still hear that wind breezing from left to right. Well, it's at Creighton's backs in the second half. Ross Pauley looking on from his bench. It's taken a long time for his vision to start to come to fruition this year, you feel. It takes so long. We've talked about it before in the women's game. It takes so long for those recruits to finally get on campus, and he finally has the team he wants now. They're still very young with 18 more newcomers this year, but so much more depth, so much more attacking potential, and a chance to develop something special here over the next couple seasons.
And a lot of young players. playing on a regular basis. He certainly seems to be building for the future, Ross Pauley.
Jays turn it over, though. Spread out toward the right. Couple step overs, and then the cross to the near post. And it hopped right in on Sullivan. They had to knock it down. I'm not sure if Mary Tierney got a head on that and flicked it along. We'll see here on the replay.
Well, I don't think that she did, but Sullivan has to wait and wait and wait. She's got to see if it's going to take a flick, and got down late, but got down just in time.
There's Grimaldi forcing a turnover. Led Heinrich just a bit too much. Over Tierney's head, out for a Creighton throw. 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, good, Keely. Send it up. Go cross. Gigi, nothing over. Right there, good.
Becoming a bit overcast here in Omaha after a sunny morning and early afternoon. There are some rain showers in the forecast for later today. Shouldn't affect our game in theory. Atkinson won that header, but not very effectively in the end.
Now in that situation, Atkinson, you know, you got a defender on you. Probably not going to direct it on goal. Your best bet is to try and pick out another player with that header. Unable to do just that.
Taken out of the air by Erickson Russo. As Turner to her left. Good defending by Rothwell.
Creighton Athletics would like to thank all J-Packers in attendance at today's contest. Are you interested in supporting the women's soccer program? Become a J-Packer today.
2 freshman center backs for Creighton. That is, well, sometimes a recipe for disaster, but the 2 for Creighton have been really solid here today, and they've been pretty good throughout this 2019 season.
Thank you.
An effort by Brooke Weitzel over the bar. Excuse me, John.
No problem. When you can have a pairing like that who can start it together as freshmen, you know, the communication, the bond that they build, the understanding of where each other are going to be, that's just a tremendous building block for any team.
Flicked by Atkinson toward Heinrich, who almost was in again. Good shielding of the ball by Jacobowski, but then the second ball wrested away from her by Weitzel. And Bosak shouldered her player out of the play. Referee wants to allow the sub before that throw is taken. Jewel Love back on the pitch for Creighton, replacing Cassie Legband.
Subbing in for the Blue Jays will be number 28, Jewel Love, or number 25, Cassie Legband. Again,
Cassie Legband with a pretty good shift.
For the Blue Jays.
Got up and down a little bit on the right wing. Jewel Love is a dynamic player.
Erickson Russo, good recovery by Rothwell after she lost that ball initially. Good strength by Fothergill. Grimaldi. Love keeps it in. Fothergill again. Grimaldi again. Love again. Couldn't control it this time.
And it's 2 fairly poor passes from Grimaldi that put Love in a bad spot.
Stab forward for Tierney. DePaul trying to find that equalizer. The cross. Bosak right there. Falls to Erickson Russo. He got well under that ball and balloons it onto the roof of the net.
She just hurried it. Couldn't wait for it to come down off the bounce. If you don't wait till it's at the right height to strike it, you're probably going to put it over.
And visit us online at kellyscarpetomaha.com. Kelly's Carpet Omaha. You'll like the way we do business.
Lauren Harks settling that ball in the midfield. Atkinson. It's a bit of a dangerous ball. Good job by Grossinger to get there. Punted away by Erickson. Harks tangled well with Saipi to win that. And then a foul called against Gwen Walker.
Walker getting tough with a tough player in Jacobowski. That's a good battle between those two.
Jacobowski is so good at getting her body between the ball and the defender, leaving the defender with no choice but to foul her, essentially. Flicked on by Heinrich. Harks couldn't quite get to it. Spins for Grimaldi. Didn't get the contact she wanted. Final half an hour of regulation at Morrison Stadium. Creighton leading by a goal to nil on the 22nd minute tally by Skylar Heinrich. Not a lot to write home about so far in the second half, John.
Yeah, no, neither team really has put anything together of consequence. Teams have looked a little bit off the pace so far out of the locker room, which is hard to do when you only have two teams in the game.
Heinrich couldn't take that down off her thigh. Tough take, to be fair. Bosak, good ball. Atkinson. Opportunities now for Creighton. Body streaking into the box, but Atkinson couldn't deliver one in there. She was closed down by three defenders.
I think that's really good on the scouting report by DePaul, knowing that Atkinson loves to cut back inside onto that right foot. And as soon as she did, three DePaul defenders just converged around her and gave her no options. That's scouting.
Here, Erin Chastain encouraging her team to lock it in, put the pressure on in this attacking part of the pitch. Brave header by Morgan Turner keeps that in play for Erickson Russo and forces Grossinger to concede the throw. And again, DePaul, as shorthanded as they are in attack this year, they had a couple of season-ending injuries to players that would have helped anchor that attack and those balls forward. They've had to adopt this much more defensive approach than Erin Chastain usually wants to. So Ross Pauly's teams really had to grind it out so far today, and DePaul are still right in this.
Well, the other thing that's affecting DePaul's ability to go forward in this match is, for the entire match, their most dangerous player this season, Morgan Turner, has been matched up on Creighton's best defender.
Offside here. Heinrich was ahead of the last defender. Creighton bench wasn't sure about that.
Creighton fans look no further than former Blue Jay men's soccer player Dr. Chase Peters at Omaha
Morgan
Spine
Turner.
Sport for all muscle, joint, and sport-related
3 goals on the season, and as mentioned, spent most of the afternoon being matched up with Jalen Bosak, and they've now switched sides for Turner. She's over here on the freshman Grimaldi, perhaps trying to create something, an opportunity in the attack.
That ball falls to Heinrich. That always spells danger, but well dealt with on the stretch by Sydney Parker. Walker wanted the ball, called for it, now gets it. That's a neat ball and a good run. Bina Saipi with an easy take in the end. No issues for Katie Sullivan.
I do think this is a smart move by Erin Chastain, switching Turner over to this left side. Gabby Grimaldi, just a freshman, laying that right back for Creighton. Could provide a little bit of a mismatch.
DePaul looking more dangerous now. Here is Turner, lots of space on the left. Morgan Turner with a cross. Bosak heads away. And then Grossinger earns the free kick. That's a bad foul to give away by Turner just when her team was starting to build some pressure.
Yeah, it's a frustration foul because Turner sends in a good cross. Nobody's there to take it. Then as it comes out, she just runs over Grossinger. Mostly out of frustration.
Love won the header. Good work by Harks to win the second ball. Jacobowski marauding forward. Taryn Jacobowski strikes it over the bar. That was the most advanced position that she's possessed the ball in quite a while in this match.
The Creighton Athletic Department would like to thank the following Operation Blue Jay sponsors for their support.
But it's an awkward-looking shot from Jacobowski. She's got a good hit when she can get everything behind it, but didn't have her body shaped up quite right to shoot that.
She's on the ball again. Jacobowski striding past defenders. Crosses right to Molly Erickson.
Erickson in good position right there. Protecting that near post. Comes off the line to make the snag. It's good goalkeeping.
Ball looked like it might have came off Grimaldi's hand. The referee says play on. It was missed by Grossinger, but again, Bosak there to cover, as she always is, seemingly.
Well, check out the chess match now, Donnie. Gabby Grimaldi has switched to left back, and Jalen Bosak to right back. She's back over here on Morgan Turner.
Jays and Ross Pauley clearly determined to keep Bosak glued to Morgan Turner all afternoon. Free kick for DePaul, though. And we saw them create some danger, Aaron Chastain's team, from these set-piece situations in the first half. This one a much more centrally placed ball. We'll see what Jackie Batliner chooses to do with it.
This is more like it. Just two defenders back now for DePaul.
Chip toward the penalty spot, not dealt with by the defense. Still not clear, and right at Katie Sullivan, who gratefully accepts. And the Jays again shaky there.
It's just that extra body up in the attack. DePaul, with those set pieces that they had late in the first half, they were keeping three defenders back plus a withdrawn midfielder. That time it was just the kick taker and two defenders. An extra body may have created some more confusion for that Creighton defense and resulted in an opportunity.
Big battle between Love and Turner. And the free kick goes DePaul's way, much to the consternation of the Creighton bench, or right by that play. And then DePaul tried to take the free kick quickly, and Lucas Feathers said, nope, come on back.
Let's see if we can see. I don't know, I didn't see where either of them committed a foul, to be honest.
Midway through the second half, into the final quarter of regulation time. Creighton with that goal lead thanks to Skylar Heinrich's first half tally, but DePaul sniffing for that equalizer now. Bina Saipi just ran away from her when she might have wanted to shoot. Still alive though, and a left-footed strike is again right at Katie Sullivan, but DePaul looking more and more dangerous.
They've started really committing forward to that attack, and just found some gaps at the back for Creighton. Saipi starting to look like the danger player, like she might be the player to break through.
It was Jessica Lazo who eventually had that left-footed effort. Fifth save of the day for Katie Sullivan. She's not been forced to stretch for any of them. All of DePaul's shots have been right at her, but you have to make the routine saves, and she has.
Lazo does have a goal on the season. She scored in the 2-1 loss to Milwaukee to open the season. She started the first 3 games for DePaul. Has been a player to come off the bench since then.
And Sullivan out to collect that cross from Erickson Russo. You can talk about goalkeepers making routine saves. We saw in the English Premier League this morning, Liverpool won a crucial match on a massive goalkeeping errors. So even at that level, the routine saves are not always routine. So again, credit to Sullivan for keeping DePaul out so far. Fothergill lost out on that tussle with Bina Saipi, but then Saipi was halted by Rothwell. Love cutting inside. The ball intended for Heinrich just spun off a defender's foot. I've seen a few sequences today where Creighton have been able to connect with some extended sequences of ball possession, but I think not nearly as much as they would normally like. Turner again defended well by Bosak.
And Morgan Turner has just been hassled at every turn by this Creighton defense, namely Jalen Bosak. And frustration may be beginning to build a little bit.
Long ball for Atkinson. Runs out for a DePaul throw. Into the final 20 minutes at Morrison. Heinrich the only goal. We've not had a yellow card in the match. By the way, Jalen Bosak, we talked about her great defending so much today. She's on 4 yellow cards on the season, and when she picks up her next, whenever that may be, that obviously would be her 5th, and that mandates a 1-game suspension for yellow card accumulation. So
Creighton's picked up already 12 yellow cards through 9 matches this season. So they've been a team that's not been afraid to mix it up, certainly, but has also committed some fouls.
Stepping in for the Blue Jays is number 24, Ashley
on the egregious side.
Ashley Kurlock back out there replacing Lauren Harks. Here's Joelle Love on her right foot. Love on the hop. Right to Erickson, who gathers.
And it's a tough turning effort for Love. She's probably better served trying to find a teammate in a good position, but the turn is gorgeous. And then again, the angle, body not shaped up quite right. A pass might have been the better option.
Bosak was not going to let Morgan Turner even head the ball in the midway line. But still, DePaul just a goal away from making this a completely different match. And Turner switches play out on the right to Lazo. Takes it on the hop. Lazo lining it up with the left, and a decent effort. Sullivan again able to get her body behind it.
Thank the following Wheel Club sponsors for their support of Creighton Athletics: Auto Express, Baxter Auto Group, Beardmore Chevrolet.
That's not for the want of trying for DePaul. They're getting in, creating opportunities, they're taking chances.
H&H Chevrolet, H&H Premier Automotive,
not striking those shots quite cleanly enough to get anything past Sullivan. She's had seemingly a lot to do, but none of it on the difficult side.
Erickson Russo able to get the cross in somewhat. And back into the mix. Still not fully clear. Saipi wanting to turn and get a shot away. Goes down, and now free kick given against DePaul. And Creighton can collect themselves.
Well, I wonder what that is. Because if he's calling Saipi for a dive, it should be a yellow card.
Yeah, that's
she didn't commit a foul.
Would it be called anywhere else on the field? No, it wouldn't. He has to call it how he would call it anywhere else on the field.
Aaron Chastain, would that be called anywhere else on the field? No. Yeah, it didn't look like a penalty to me, but it certainly didn't look like a foul on Saipi either.
And if he's calling her for simulation, then it's a yellow card.
Yeah. That was a strange one. Creighton now hanging on a bit. And DePaul forward again with Erickson Russo. Cleared only as far as Lazo. Toward the edge of the area. It was neat footwork by Turner to get a strike away. It was blocked right back toward her. And now Turner, play on, says the referee. Bosak back to her feet to tackle that away. But all the pressure belonging to DePaul now, and the whistle goes. That's offside. At a bad time for the Blue Demons. Again, at points, as you see Bosak, well, that's not good for the Jays. Clutching that right leg. Looks like maybe just a cramp. That's what Creighton will certainly hope.
And she's grasping at the hamstring, so you're hoping it's just a cramp. As if it's any sort of injury, this can linger.
We talked about all the work she's put in today to limit Morgan Turner. Clock is stopped with 15:44 to play.
Turner has tried to return to the right side of the attack, and Bosak has followed her right back over there. So it's pretty clear that the game plan was to use Bosak to try and cancel out DePaul's most dangerous attacking player. And you have to say, with just under 16 minutes to go now, it's been pretty effective.
Yeah, Bosak has played every minute today, though, for Creighton, and cramp may be a sign that she could be tiring a bit. So if you're DePaul, do you try to go right back at her the next time you gain possession? We'll see. Here's Lazo. Down the line for Erickson Russo. Sullivan way out of her goal to sweep that out of play. Again, DePaul starting to win more of those loose balls on the edge of the Creighton area. Another physical battle between Love and Jackie Batliner. And DePaul had a sub ready. Now that sub comes in as it's Mary Tierney back in the match, replacing Batliner.
Well, here it comes. Now it's DePaul. That's an offense for defense substitution. Jackie Batliner on the bench. Another attacking player on, so this is where the game begins to open up.
Subbing in for the Blue Jays will be number 30.
Love and Fothergill off for Creighton. Kylan Grubb has come back on. She'll go up top.
16, Kylan Grubb. And for number 99, Fothergill. And number 28, Love.
Here's Tierney. Can she reach that ball? She can, and she kept it in play. And it falls on the edge of the area and prodded well wide. It sliced off the left foot of Brooke Weitzel. Again, though, Creighton not quite clearing their box at the first attempt.
Now, this was a good play by Tierney to keep it alive, and then just throws it in the mixer. Right? See what happens.
As good as Bosak has been, that's not her best clear there. Right toward the middle of your penalty area. Creighton, though, always dangerous on the counterattack. Skylar Heinrich, you see her at the bottom of your screen. She's moved to the right. She's been a peripheral figure in this second half, but has the telling moment in the 22nd minute, the only goal of the match. Could still grab another as DePaul are forced to push more bodies forward late in regulation.
The best forwards can disappear for long stretches of time and pop up in the right moment.
Collision between Grubb and Sydney Parker. It's a free kick for Creighton. See Parker a little slow to get up.
And it's Parker who jumps in to Grubb, who's going straight up in the air. That's the reason the foul was called.
So the fouls fairly evenly distributed in this game. Clock stopped with 13:07 to play. Atkinson standing over this free kick. And Atkinson clips it toward the penalty spot over the head of Kurlock. And DePaul clear. And then it falls to Grubb. Kylan Grubb is onside. And Kylan Grubb makes it 2. A play that seemed to develop in slow motion, but Grubb eventually slammed it home, and Creighton have daylight in this Big East opener.
The dam finally broke for DePaul. Just couldn't get it clear. And Kylan Grubb gets behind the defense, calmly slots it home.
Her second of the year. And Ross Pauley was talking about her this week, saying what a great teammate she is, accepts whatever role she's given. Today, off the bench late in either half, not a ton of minutes, but beloved by her teammates and making a huge impact off the bench there to possibly put this match away. We'll still have time to maybe grab a goal back and make this an interesting finish, but that's ineffectively over.
6-match win streak for DePaul over Creighton. Could it be coming to an end right here today? Yeah. That second goal put away by Kylan Grubb certainly makes it a distinct possibility.
For the Blue Jays.
Again, DePaul, we mentioned it early in the first half. The last team that Creighton hadn't gotten a result against since moving to the Big East. And even gotten a draw against them in 6 tries. Looks like that at least might change today. Jays will be disappointed at this point not to take all 3 points today. As Emma Yackley goes off, Lauren Hark's back on to try to help see out these last 11.5 minutes. That's just fine from Skylar Heinrich. Maybe not her best first touch, but still wins the throw and lets Creighton take more time off the clock. Jacobowski tenaciously conceding a foul eventually, but still, the clock running the whole time. It's just so annoying to deal with, I'm sure, Taryn Jacobowski, if you're the opposition. Back on the ball now, but overran it this time, and that allows DePaul, in transition, an opportunity to come forward with some numbers. Still might here. Switched out to the left, Tierney. Paul needs something quickly. Tierney, top of the box, stabbed aimlessly by Weitzel out of play for a goal kick.
It was that switch to Tierney, Donnie, that just wasn't good enough. She had to check up and stop, and it allowed the entire Creighton defense to recover. If that ball's further out in front, if it's the leading pass that Tierney can run onto, they've got something working. But as it was, Tierney had to stop, and the recovery was complete for the Blue Jay defense.
Saw Skylar Heinrich subbed off. But as it currently stands, is still the match-winning goal in the 22nd minute. And Kylan Grubb adding the second just a couple minutes ago. Lots of space on the edge of the area for Erickson Russo, but could not deliver across.
It's been an almost chronic problem for DePaul today, Donnie. The shots over the bar, they're not even forcing Katie Sullivan to make a save in some of their most dangerous opportunities. They can't keep it on frame.
We've said it most of the afternoon. I think DePaul, in terms of their game plan and their execution in their own third, there's a chance for Ashley Kerlock to deliver across. Cut out though, it's a corner. Creighton will take that. I think DePaul, again, have done a lot of what they wanted to do today. The difference has been the cutting edge in the final third, which Creighton have had in a couple key moments, and DePaul simply have not.
Yeah, just, again, those two unfortunate bounces of the ball that have, could go either way. The one off the crossbar and the one cleared off the line by Keely Fothergill could very easily be a 2-2 match.
The back post, Bosak won the header, comes back to Bosak, and it deflected off of Morgan Sarka. And apparently off a DePaul player last, another corner for Creighton. Morgan Sarka subbing on late in this match.
Played
in most of Creighton's matches last year as a freshman. Atkinson lines up this corner. Again, toward that back post, and Bosak hunts it down. Sarka now. His father played in the Canadian Football League with the Calgary Stampeders. Referee has signaled for the clock to stop briefly, with Creighton taking their time before taking this throw. Rolled into Kylan Grubb, who sort of nutmegged a defender, but couldn't get on the end of her own nutmeg.
It's a nifty turn. Not entirely sure if she meant to do it.
Blue Jay corner kick and taken by number.
Results in another Creighton corner, and the clock keeps running. Ross Pauly trying to guide his team over the finish line. Open Big East play with 3 points. Atkinson right on top of the goal.
That's another Mattress Factory corner kick.
Parks finally booted clear by DePaul, but it's been a good sequence for Creighton. They've taken a few minutes off the clock as they applied the pressure in the attacking half of the field.
Well, DePaul have to find a way to get out of their own end right now. Down 2 goals, under 7 minutes to play. Anything will do, just get it out.
Grubb back to goal. Didn't have a route forward. Content to take it to the corner and waste some more time and win another throw. Here, Ross Pauly hollering inside the box to Joelle Love. Wants her to launch this into the danger area. She does. And a foul given against Creighton.
Looks like they got Grubb for a push, which isn't a big chance now for DePaul to boot this out from the back.
Yeah, not a foul you want to commit there if you're Creighton.
It's not the intelligent foul.
The Jays then winning those second balls that Ross Pauly talked about earlier this week. And then Jacobowski speeding around a couple, looking to slide in Kurlock, who is offside. She puts it in the net, but it does not count.
Some of those surely by now patented turns from Taryn Jacobowski, and then a great ball through, but Kurlock couldn't quite check the run.
DePaul dealing with a cramp. As we're nearly into the final 5 of regulation. That was Brooke Weitzel. So we see that turn again from Jacobowski.
And it was close.
Yeah. Tough to see on that replay, but it looked like Kurlock was maybe riding that line with the last defender, maybe just ahead of him.
Off the field after the completion of today's match. Thank you for your cooperation. We'd also
been a
like
great
to ask
goal
for your
that
help
it
with the
stood.
cleanup of Morrison Stadium. Please throw your trash and recyclables into the appropriate bins following the conclusion of today's game.
5 minutes to play. Creighton looking comfortable for now, and it could get even better as Kurlock looking to catch the goalkeeper off her line. Didn't connect cleanly at all. One final sub for Creighton. Skylar Heinrich does come back on for these last 5 minutes, replacing Joelle Love.
Be number 20, Skylar Heinrich, or number 28.
I suppose the theory from Ross Pauly is you're a freshman, you can't have too much experience.
Well, she had looked a little tired in this second half. She had a few minutes to sit and rest, and she'll get one more chance on the counter here late.
Actually, Kurlock has looked dangerous running at that back line as well.
For DePaul, the air has really gone out of the balloon since that second goal for Creighton. They look much more dangerous in this second half, gotten themselves into some good advanced positions, just couldn't make enough from those opportunities.
Behind their bench in the stands after the game in section 103.
And I think as this season goes on, DePaul is going to be a very good team if they can find the first goal. If DePaul can find the first goal in matches, they're going to be very hard to beat. But when they get scored on first and are chasing the game, it seems like it's going to be a very tall task for a team that's been hit with the injury bug.
Tierney defended by Heinrich, who does it well.
And again, early on, a ball cleared off the line by Creighton's Keeley Fothergill. If that goes in, it's 1-0 DePaul, and this game is probably vastly different than it's turned out.
Well, Creighton didn't clear that ball initially. It fell to Erickson Russo, who forced a save from Sullivan. Again, they've had moments like that. And you mentioned that ball off the line. They also hit the bar with a cross/shot in the first half.
We call that a schross.
Right. And yeah, if either of those crosses the goal line, DePaul scores first in this match. Could have been a very different afternoon with the way Creighton struggled to break them down for long stretches. Jakubowski now. Here's Heinrich. Room to run. Hasn't had much of it today. Cuts inside. Heinrich on her left. Curls it just over. That would have been spectacular. And she wasn't far away.
Welcome to the Big East. And welcome to Skylar Heinrich land to the rest of the conference. We're seeing a lot of number 20 in blue for the next 3.5 years.
Second ball.
I continue to marvel at Heinrich's ability to potentially score from so many different situations. We've seen her score with her head, with both feet, from point-blank range, from outside the box. Here's Sullivan way out. Some miscommunication. It was Grossinger who got there first. Jays do just enough. Inside 2 minutes remaining. Atkinson will get to this ball first. Jays actually have a 4-on-3 situation here, but Atkinson in no hurry. Running down clock by that corner flag and wins a throw. Creighton appear to be headed for a conference opening victory as they look to continue this turnaround in Ross Pauly's 5th season.
We already top the win total from a year ago. We're not even into October.
Ross Pauly keeping that poker face, but even though his team hasn't played as well as they could today, has to be thrilled with the result they're about to gain. Especially when you get into conference play, it's all about the result.
Well, that's a bit of growth from a young team, isn't it? You know, finding a way to scratch out a victory when you haven't had your best game. That's the hallmark of what great teams do, isn't it?
Absolutely. Jakubowski onside. 30 seconds left. Throw in for Creighton. That'll just about take care of the rest. Again, DePaul battled well today, battled gamely. Threatened to equalize for much of the second half, but Creighton have done enough. Heinrich, great take out of the air. Her 22nd minute goal will hold up as the winner. Kylan Grubb added the second. One more attack for Mary Tierney as time runs down. And one more touch for Katie Sullivan. And Creighton are 1-0 in Big East play in 2019. Ross Pauly exchanges handshakes with Aaron Chastain. Creighton 2, DePaul 0. We will speak with head coach Ross Pauly in just a moment, get his thoughts on this conference opening win. Jays improved to 7-3 overall.
Volleyball team will play play tomorrow afternoon against
DePaul
Georgetown.
dropped to 3-5-2 and 0-1 in conference. Just their second defeat in their last 7 games.
For coming out and supporting Blue Jay Sports. Take care, drive safe. God bless our troops. As always, go Jays.
We are joined by Ross Pauley down below. Coach, congratulations on the win. Was it your team's best performance? Do you care after you ground out 3 points today?
We knew it was going to be that way. It was one of those games where it was going to be a lot of second balls, trying to win the second ball, connect. It was ugly, and we know we can play better than that, but conference play, sometimes you just got to grit it out, and we needed to do that. We lost 2 in a row from having to fight, and it was good to come out on the front end on this one.
Hey, Coach, another shutout here on the season. You open Big East play with a shutout. I want to talk about that defensive battle between Morgan Turner and Jalen Bosock. You moved Bosock around to kind of follow her. Was that always the game plan here today?
We knew she was a very dangerous player, and anytime she gets on the ball, she can create problems for us, and our best 1v1 defender is Jalen. So, and she did a great job of it. She really did her best to step up on her, not allow her too much space, and we were fortunate a couple times, but we'll take it.
Coach, we've talked about Skylar Heinrich a lot this year, but how about Kylan Grubb with that killer second goal? You've talked about her unselfishness and how much her teammates love her. How delighted were you to see her get that goal today?
Always. That girl just works hard for the team. I'm so proud of her. She had composure in front of the goal and just really placed it. Worked hard. It was a hard-working goal, and we needed it. It was one of those things where we were under the gun, and we put Grubby out there because she's going to give everything she has, and to put that goal away was huge for us.
Congrats, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
That is Creighton head coach Ross Pauley after a 2-0 win for the Jays this afternoon. Back to wrap things up from Morrison after this.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
to know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
A 2-0 win for Creighton over DePaul in the conference opener today at Morrison Stadium. Back here one more time in our broadcast booth. He's John Schreiner. I'm Donnie Barnes. Creighton doing enough today. Lots of good stuff from DePaul, John. You know they're going to battle the rest of this year. But Creighton, you heard Ross Pauley talk about it in our post-match interview. A lot of growth from them to grind one out in conference play, something they haven't been able to do the last few years.
Yeah, it's a huge way to start the conference slate for Creighton, a team that's never qualified for the Big East tournament since they've been in the conference. It's a goal that they have this season, and to get that opening win and to shut out a DePaul team that they'd never beaten before, that's a big victory today.
Stay tuned later today at 7 o'clock for the men's game, Creighton and Villanova. That's a big one here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. Our executive producer today has been Brad Pace, along with Joe Willman. We appreciate our entire crew here in Omaha. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast as well. Creighton 2, DePaul 0. That's your final this afternoon in the conference opener. This has been Big East Women's Soccer on BEDN, presented by SoFi. Good afternoon from Morrison Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska.